Hello, my name is Justine, and I will be discussing the false analogy fallacy. Let's begin with a 2-minute free write about what we think false analogy means. Now that we have had some time to brainstorm and get our ideas down on what we believe false analogies means, let's jump right in and start with a definition and then go over a few examples of false analogies. A false analogy often occurs when an argument is based on a misleading, superficial, or implausible comparison between two things, or when someone applies facts from one situation to another situation, but the situations are substantially different and the same conclusions cannot logically be drawn. Other names for this fallacy could be faulty analogy, weak analogy, wrongful comparison, analogical fallacy. This term comes from the Latin word fallacia, meaning deception, deceit, trick, or artifice. A good textbook example of a false analogy would be, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger" is so true. Does that mean that if you take non lethal doses of poison, it's good for your health? Absolutely not. In this article I found, supposedly trustworthy politicians chose to use a specious analogy to compare a short-lived attack on the embassy in Baghdad to the devastating Vietnam War that took place from 1955 to 1975, calling the attack on the embassy another Vietnam, which completely disregards the significance of what really happened during the Vietnam War and how many people were truly affected.
Me and the boys wish to thank you for hanging on to this stuff for us.
Thanks. Uh, say, are you guys crooks?
But, is it wrong to steal a loaf of bread to feed your starving family?
No.
Well, suppose you got a large starving family. Is it wrong to steal a truckload of bread to feed them? And what if your family don't like bread? They like cigarettes.
I guess that's okay.
Now, what if instead of giving them away, you sold them at a price that was practically giving them away? Would that be a crime, Bot?
Hell no.
Enjoy your gift.
Baking apple pie? Discount Orange Warehouse has you covered. A fruit's a fruit, right? It's not.
A few more examples of the false analogy fallacy include comparing a nation's economy to a household budget, equating the complex human brain to a computer processor, analogizing a relationship to a business partnership, comparing the human body to a machine in discussions of healthcare, equating social interactions to transactions in an economic market, drawing parallels between a political leader and a superhero character, and comparing the internet to a library without acknowledging their fundamental differences. I really hope that within my presentation, I was able to clearly define my fallacy to the point where you could comfortably comprehend and explain the false analogy fallacy and all that it entails. I was so nervous doing this, but thank you so much for listening. I hope you understand my presentation.